They've got an early chance here in the first inning.
A lot of strikeouts, a lot of fly ball outs to end the innings, too. And for this Alabama team, relying on that speed, you've got to put the ball on the ground.
Johnson with a foul ball for strike one. Johnson 0 for 3 yesterday, 5 for 12 in the NCAA tournament. Spent a lot of time this season in the leadoff spot, 31 games in all, hitting cleanup now as Patrick Murphy switched around his lineup. The return of Marley Giles, who's on the on-deck circle, has helped lengthen that line out a bit. That's up high, ball one. Johnson puts it in play. A run will score, and Alabama is on top 1-0. An RBI ground out for Jenna Johnson.
The senior stepping up for Alabama, textbook manufacturing a run by putting the ball in play. This is a slap. She just puts it on the ground because she knows that Kristen White has a ton of explosive speed coming off of third base. If she gets it on the ground in the right spot, she's going to score all day long. It's exactly what happens, and Bama has their first run of the ball game.
Here is Giles, who takes strike one. Cahalan at second with 2 down. Giles 4 for 8 in the NCAA tournament, 1 for 3 with a run scored yesterday. The 0-1. 1-1.
Typically, you'd think when you have somebody with the speed of Kristen White over at third base, you might look to lay down that squeeze bunt. But Coach Patrick Murphy is reading the defense for Tennessee, too, where specifically McKenna Gibson is playing over at third base when he makes those decisions. And I like the move to go to the slap to try to get a little bit more distance on it, hit it just far enough up the middle to where Laura Mueller at shortstop had no other choice but to get the out over at first base. She had no shot of getting Kristen White out at home plate.
This is not an Alabama team that's going to get you with a 3-run home run. They've hit only 1 home run in the NCAA tournament. They are manufacturing runs as best they can, and they've done that here in the first. Giles pops it up. Nugent called off by Gibson, who puts it away to retire the side. For the second day in a row, Alabama takes a 1-0.
To flush that and make a great play from left.
Little bloop off the bat of Zeta Pooney. 1 pitch, 1 out for Brisky here in the second as West is coming to the plate.
I thought that was just a great example of her veteran leadership and her mindset, not to be caught up with the 1 error in the first inning, but know that there was a lot of game left, that she could still play her part for this team to try to come out with a win. And not just the defensive play that she made on the assist out in left field, but also her base running yesterday. The key walk just to get on base to try to manufacture runs in that 5th inning. A huge reason why Tennessee was able to come away with a win yesterday was the performance by Riley West.
See West's numbers on the season, tied for the team lead in home runs with 13, leading the team in hitting now at 358 because she's gone 6 for 10 in the NCAA tournament. A couple of home runs, 9 runs batted in. One on the count to the senior left fielder. 2-1. Now that 5th inning, a leadoff walk, the first walk issued by Caleb Beaver. And then a hit and run was on with Sophia Nugent on the plate at the plate. She didn't connect, and West, you said it's a game of inches. This one's hit hard to right, and it is off the top of the wall. West slams on the brakes around first. It's a solid single, second hit of the game for Tennessee. She's aboard with 1 down.
We've seen her do this all season long, too, just spraying with power to all fields. A drop ball low and outside, does such a good job of using her lower half and driving that ball all the way out to that right field wall. Hit it so hard, didn't give herself enough time to get to second base, but she had her eyes on it the entire time. If there was an opportunity to take 2, she was going for it.
Played well by Pruitt off the wall to make sure she could turn around and field it in time to hold West to a single. And here is Nugent, the junior catcher. One. Nugent 276 on the season with 10 home runs, 3 for 11 in the NCAA tournament with a home run, 4 runs batted in, over 2 yesterday. The 1-1. 2-1. You mentioned it, Madison. The game of inches, the hit and run. Nugent can't connect. So West turns out to be a straight steal, and with a good slide, and Alabama was on their heels just a little bit, not expecting it. 3-1. West able to slide in safely to second, and then on the air on the infield, coming around the score.
It was the dives, too, both at second base and at home plate, that I felt made the biggest difference in those plays. Her going in head first. As another walk is issued to Brisky, but let's take a look at a couple of those base running gems that Riley West had yesterday in the 5th inning. See her taking off from first base, looking to see if the ball's put in play, takes off the afterburners, diving into second base.
Yes, she sure did.
And here she is rounding third. You can see just a little bit of slow up, and then she had that closing speed, I believe is what Coach Karen Weekly called it.
This is slapped out to right field. Pruitt has to put on the brakes. The runners had to hold as Pruitt charged it for a split second. It looked like she'd be able to catch it in the air, but Tennessee's got something cooking on a hot day in Knoxville. Bases loaded, 1 out here for the Lady Vols. Solid single for Rodriguez.
A couple of hits to the right side, too, and what that tells me is that Tennessee is really working on trying to get underneath and behind the drop balls that Jocelyn Brisky is throwing. Just dumps it straight out in front of Larissa Pruitt. And because the game's starting to speed up here, it looks like Coach Patrick Murphy's calling time to come out and talk to his team.
You dug into the numbers, too. You thought the rod did dirt out of these cleats because we need to slow things down here for Jocelyn Brisky. Katsuyanopolis may have been hit by the pitch. She was, with the bases loaded. Tennessee ties it up.
Taking another look at this here. Pitch up and inside.
I don't think it got the knob of the bat. The umpires are coming together here, Madison, to talk it over. And the home plate umpire today, Don Brown.
After review, the call on the field is upheld, foul ball.
Okay. So Katsuyanopolis will step back in. The count will be 0-1. And the bases are loaded, and Alabama still on top 1-0. Karen Weekly now with 1 challenge remaining, as she was unsuccessful with that challenge. 1-1. And I don't think it's said enough that the fact that the umpires are wearing the microphones, that they're communicating, that they're letting us know what's happening, that is huge. Blooped on the infield. Big pitch there from Brisky and a big out, 2 down.
It's a great location for her pitch, too, and just the controversy of that hit by pitch called a foul ball, right? It's up and inside, so that's the location she's trying to get to with Katsuyanopolis up at the plate, and she executes on that one and gets that weak fly ball over to Bailey Dowling at third base for out number 2.
There's nothing weak about the number 9 hitter for Tennessee. Laura Mueller takes ball 1. Mueller at 283 with 8 home runs, 26 runs batted in. Had that 2-run home run yesterday. Great production out of the 9 spot for Tennessee. And she delivers again. Base hit to left will tie the game.
Laura Mueller coming through in the 9 spot for the Lady Volunteers. 2 outs in this situation, so she's got to find a way to drop the ball into the grass. Takes notes of the at-bat before her with Julia Katsuyanopolis getting a lot of pitches up and inside, and she goes after this one. Top hand strong, drives it out into the left field. Scoring a run for Tennessee. Just seems like Laura Mueller has that clutch factor for Tennessee in this postseason.
For the season in total, she's now 12 for 36 with 2 outs. And her last 2 at-bats have been 2-out hits. The 2-run home run yesterday And the home run yesterday, the single here today.
You can even see her talking about it with Coach Kate Malveaux over at first base, just the way that she was able to tuck her hands to get inside of that up and inside pitch. All of those mid-pitch adjustments that Mueller's able to make, and that's coming from the 9 spot in your order.
Here's Kiki Malloy. Ball 1. One to one.
I like the call going to the changeup there after falling behind in the count, flipping in a 57-mile-per-hour off speed. Seen her work inside to these righties. Likes to go to the drop ball. A little bit arm side run on that pitch. Low and in. Just seems like a couple of these are missing a little bit further up in the zone than what we've seen from Brisky over the past few weeks.
Malloy pops it up, right side, moving over as Hevelin went a long way, collided with Pruitt in right field and held on to it for the out. Stay in the game and play second base here for the Lady Vols as Alabama steps in the bottom half of inning number 2, and Bailey Dowling will lead off. Senior at 261, 3 homers, 18 runs batted in, 6 of 12 in the NCAA tournament. One of quite a few seniors hoping that this is not her final game playing for the Crimson Tide. Soft liner to the center fielder. Malloy has it, 1 away.
Dowling had that nice double in yesterday's ball game. Just gets that one off the end of the bat. Straight to Kiki Malloy out in center field. See, intentionally, it seems like Alabama going after those pitches more in the lower part of the zone. Talking to Coach Patrick Murphy before today's ball game, he said going up against Gottschall, they needed to lay off of those pitches up in the zone, try to see the ball down to put them in play.
Ball 1 to Lauren Essman, who's getting the start today after a pinch hit yesterday. 244 on the season for the grad student. 1-0 from Gottschall. That misses for ball 2. Gottschall went 2 innings yesterday, gave up 2 hits. It was to the first 2 batters she faced yesterday, but then settled down and shut down Alabama and picked up the save. Harlan Pickens got the win. Pickens did not have her best stuff yesterday, threw 101 pitches and really had to work before giving way to Gottschall yesterday.
The command just wasn't as sharp from Pickens as we've seen really all season long from her. Had the changeup in the early part of the game. It seemed like that was the pitch that started to go pretty erratic on her throughout yesterday's ball game.
2-2.
Gave way to Peyton Gottschall in that ball game. Ended up coming out on top. As you mentioned, Lauren Esmond had that nice swing off of Gottschall when she came into the ball game, and Gottschall's numbers against left-handed batters, she's got a .216 batting average against, so a little bit higher than her batting average against of 148 to righties.
Check swing, count goes full, 3-2.
Tried to work that curveball low and inside to Esmond. Tennessee fans can't believe it. Looked a little bit low.
See the numbers yesterday and picking up the save. Line shot foul. Gottschall's been in this position before. This is her second season with Tennessee. Last year in the Super Regional round here at Knoxville, she had a 2-hit shutout of Texas to send Tennessee back to the Women's College World Series. Their first appearance since 2015, trying to go back-to-back. Esmond battling at the plate. Gottschall and Pickens both first-team All-Conference. Pickens, the SEC Pitcher of the Year. Going to assume Gottschall wasn't too far behind in the voting. Another 3-2. This one's hit well to left. It's carrying. West moving back to the track and tracks it down at the wall. 2 down.
It's another really good swing by Lauren Esmond, but great defense by Riley West out in left field. Had to track this one all the way back to that left field wall. You see how her eyes are on that ball the entire time. That's the benefit of being at your home field. You know exactly how many steps it takes to get to that fence. Had her eyes on it, tracked it down, and robbed Lauren Esmond of a base hit.
Good at bat for Esmond. 2 down for Riley Valentine. Out of play for strike 1. Ball's been carrying here at Sherry Parker Lee. Breeze is going out, but I mentioned it's a warm day. We saw that yesterday with Mueller's home run fly ball that was really high, just kept going and going and going until it was gone.
You can see the flags there too, even blowing out towards center field. You get that backspin on it, you'll get some carry.
0-2 to Valentine. There you see the flags in straightaway center field.
I'm glad at least a couple of them are blowing, because usually when we talk about the wind, that's when the flags decide to stand still. There they go, out to center. We're
in the hands of Matt Wilson, a talented director who is not going to take a shot of those limp flags while you mention up how the wind's blowing out. Thank you, Matt. Valentine has the 1 home run of the postseason for Alabama. It was a pinch hit shot in the 9th inning at the Rhodes House.
Really good piece of hitting by her, too, getting underneath that pitch. Coach Murphy, when he brought her into that ball game, he said he just wanted her to do something different. No ground balls to the left side, and boy, did she do something different by blasting it out of the Rhodes House.
9th inning home run qualifies. Called strike 3. Got the call on the corner to retire the side.
Stay in that aggressive mindset just helps me, hit really anything that comes, and if it goes all over the field, then that's what happens. But just being aggressive and just making something happen.
Well, Boo had a front row seat for Taylor Panel being aggressive at the plate, hit it hard to right, but Larissa Pruitt made a good play on it, 1 down.
That aggressive mindset that you see from this entire Tennessee lineup. Not afraid to drive the ball the opposite way. Got a good piece of that one, but a nice play by Pruitt and right.
Gibson swings at the first pitch, fouls it off for strike 1.
And with all of these right-handed batters, I feel like Tennessee sees a lot of pitches on the outer half. So you have to have good barrel control to be able to spray the ball to all fields. And McKenna Gibson so far this year has 12 extra base hits on pitches that are thrown on the outer half of the plate. So she's not just hitting them over there, but driving them with authority.
1-1. There are few things that make you happier than talking hitting with people. Working with me maybe
yes,
just
definitely
right,
up at the top
1A, yeah, but when you're talking hitting, fouled out of play by Gibson, 1-2.
It's just so fun to get to learn from all of these athletes, because each of them so unique in their own way, but what makes them individually successful? How do they approach hitting? Or even talking to the pitchers, what are they looking for in swings to attack in certain spots? Had a really great conversation with Kayla Beaver about that before the Super Regional started, about how she likes to make adjustments from game to game just based off of what the batters are doing against her. We see Kayla Beaver over in that Alabama bullpen. But she's also reading swing tendencies and what they did the at-bat before. So just getting into the mindset of all these athletes, I always have such a good time with.
That misses for a ball, 2-2. You were a student of the game. You paid attention to everything. You were always trying to think a step ahead, and that never goes away for you, even after your playing days have ended.
It's still the mental chess game, right? The games within the game of softball.
3-2 now for Gibson. 1-1 the score here in the top half of the 3rd inning. We'll do it again.
A few more drop balls that we're seeing from Brisky in this at-bat to McKenna Gibson. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming in here. That last one, a drop ball, a little bit of arm side run to it as well, so it's going to jam up those righties.
Gibson soft liner into the glove of Dowling at 3rd. Brisky wins the battle, 2 down. Women's College World Series returning to Oklahoma City. The action begins Thursday at noon Eastern, live on ESPN. For more information on the 2024 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Ball one to Zeta Pooney, who lined out the short her first time. That's fouled off. Brisky settling in. She got the start against USC Upstate in the regional round at the Rhodes House. Lost a no-hitter in the 7th. Gave up 1 hit, struck out 3. 2 appearances total in the Tuscaloosa Regional. Nasty pitch. Pooney way out in front. It's 1-2.
Pulling the string on that one, 55 miles per hour, and out of her hand, it looks the same as the drop balls that she's been throwing hard inside to these righties. Pooney way out in front on that swing. Goes back with the drop ball away. You've seen Brisky make an adjustment through the first 3 innings of this ball game too. It felt like in the first inning, as pitching coach Lance McMahon looks on, first inning drop balls hanging up in the zone just a bit too much. And now she's continued to work them further and further in the lower part of the zone. Even some of her misses aren't missing by much down in the zone. Always see him come out of the dugout too in between innings, having those conversations with his pitchers, what they're seeing out there in the circle.
The 2-2. Count goes full.
It's another good spot. I like that location there, 2-2, working inside to Zeta Pooney. You don't want to leave something over the heart of the plate, but you want to see if you can get her to chase at that low and inside drop. Not missing by much.
Popped up right side, and the first baseman, Essman, goes back to get it to retire the side. A 1-2-3 inning for Jocelyn Britt.
Not at all costs, whatever it takes.
Grounded hard by Heveland to third, played by Gibson. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the 3rd.
Everybody has their own way of blocking out those intrusive thoughts, whether it's channeling all of that energy into focus into one particular thing, whether it's a game plan or 1 pitch at a time. You hear that often spoken. Alabama likes to take a little bit of a different route. They've got the party going in the dugout.
I'm not sensing too much anxiety or stress thanks to Riley Valentine, the rally worm, and the stick found in Tuscaloosa that just happened to be shaped perfectly like a rod with a fish on the end of it. Boy, this is just the party starter for Alabama when it comes to getting on. Kristen White is on for the 2nd time today.
She puts on an absolute clinic of how to lay down the perfect bunt in front of home plate. Gets it far enough out in front of home to where Sophia Nugent back behind the dish is the one that has to come out and try to make a play on it. Deadens it right off of the end of the bat. Picture perfect bunt that's laid down by Kristen White after that lineup switch, moving her up into that leadoff spot in regionals last weekend, and she has just taken off.
Pruitt tries to bunts it foul for strike 1. Kristen White now with 8 hits in the NCAA tournament. Pruitt struck out in the 1st. One and 1.
And because of the speed here at the top of the lineup for Alabama, you've got Kristen White and then Larissa Pruitt. You're going to see the defense shift a bit. So Bella Fa, who's playing second base, to squeeze up the middle because she's going to cover second if Kristen White decides to steal. Got Laura Mueller more into that 5-6 hole.
Popped up out of play, and it's 1-2.
And it makes it even more difficult, too, for defenses because Larissa Pruitt likes to swing away quite a bit. She'll swing away and she'll bunt. She does have the slap in her back pocket, but she's also reading this defensive alignment to try to decide what she wants to do up at the plate. And now with 2 strikes, you're going to see the corners move back just a little bit.
Gotcho gets the strikeout. 2 down. For the 3rd straight year, the NCAA Division I Women's Lacrosse National Championship game is on ESPN. The defending champion, top seed Northwestern, will take on number 2 seed Boston College for the title tomorrow, noon Eastern, from Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, North Carolina. A couple of programs very familiar with playing in national championships. They'll be fighting for the title tomorrow. White at first with 2 down. Heveland reached on an infield single in the 1st. Softly hit to Mueller at shortstop. She puts it away to retire The team was a little amped up. You've got your finger on the pulse. What's it like down there today for your team?
I think we're at the equilibrium we need to be at. We're a team that's process focused, and when we're playing too emotional, we don't play well.
Karen, Riley West's going to lead off offensively for you guys this inning, but defensively, she's made some really nice plays throughout this Super Regional. Another one today going deep out into left field to make a grab. How big is it to have her defense out there in the outfield to be able to cover so much ground?
It's huge, and Riley's a senior. She's put 4 years of everything she has into this program. You saw it yesterday with the slide into the plate. She's not going to let a ball drop. That kid's going to do everything she can to help this team win.
Karen, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So she'll go down to the third base coach's box and see what Riley West can do. First, a little chat with Chris Malveaux, the hitting coach for Tennessee, as West gets ready to go. Singled hard off the wall in right, back in the second. Now 7 for 11 in the NCAA tournament. West, little weak pop-up to the catcher. Marley Giles has it easily, one away.
Another example of a good adjustment being made by Jocelyn Brisky. Eric, you just mentioned that hard hit that Riley West had back in the second inning off of the wall in right field. It was a drop ball a bit up, but it was outside, and so she decides to change things up and work the drop ball in on the hands to get that first out.
Starts with strike one to Nugent, who walked in the second. Tennessee left the bases loaded back in the second inning. They did score 1 run in that inning to tie things up here with Alabama. A reminder, Tennessee, the visiting team here in Game 2 of the Super Regional. 1-1. Five in a row retired by Brisky. All pop-ups or line drives. All in the air. This one is hit in the air, deep to left field. It is gone. Sophia Nugent, tape measure shot, number 11 on the season. 2-1 Tennessee.
That ball cleared the Smoky Mountains out in left field. She got every bit of this drop ball inside. We've been talking about the adjustments that Jocelyn Brisky's making in the circle. This one, a drop about belt high, and Sophia Nugent gets barrel underneath. Great extension, even lets go with that top hand to get that extra bit of extension on it. Launches it way deep out beyond left field.
Tough to tell on a sunny day, but that backdrop is the outline of the Smoky Mountains. And Maddie, it takes a lot of strength to clear the Smokies, and she did that here for the home run. That is number 84 for Tennessee, 5th in Division I in home runs.
And she did that with ease, too.
There you see that backdrop out there. That was a picture-perfect swing. Rodriguez, that's a fair ball. And Dowling throws out. Bella Faw, excuse me. Remember, she came in to run for Rodriguez and stayed in the game at second base. So Faw's first plate appearance is a ground out to third, 2 down. We'll talk with Alabama head coach Patrick Murphy. Any of the mistakes that his team has made have been costly, whether it's a base on balls, it's an error, it's a missed location on a pitch. Tennessee's made Alabama pay.
And that was one of the keys for Coach Patrick Murphy for his team coming into this weekend. Limit the free passes, limit the extra outs.
Soft liner into the glove of Dowling to retire the side, but Tennessee goes in front. A tight game. What's the most important thing in these final few innings for your team to do to force a Game 3 tomorrow, Patrick?
Follow the person that gets on base. We're getting people on, and then nothing happens behind them. So we call it pass the baton down. So if somebody gets it first, we need to keep going. It's like a relay in a track meet. We use it, pass the baton and keep going.
What is it that goes into that mindset? I know we talked last weekend, you guys so good with 2 outs. What do you think's going to take for it to come through for your team in this ball game?
She mixes it up really well. Obviously, she's a good pitcher, both of them. So a lot of spin, a lot of up, curveball, in and out. You got to pick a spot, see it down to begin with. We've done a much better job of not popping up today, so I'm proud of them for that. Good line drives. Wes made a really good play out in left field off of Lauren Essmans, but see the ball down, drive it through the infield, and good things are going to happen. And congrats to Mr. Phillip, our NCAA men's tennis singles champion today. So roll tide to that.
You are a multitasker.
Yes, sir.
You can figure it out.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Somebody wins something big, he's going to know about it. And, of course, they've had so many big wins during his 26 years at Alabama. 1,302 wins in total in his career, 1,274 at Bama. This is the 18th trip to the Super Regionals for a Murphy coach team, which is a Division I record.
This team's been fighting all weekend long. Even in this game, still a lot of ball game left to be played.
One thing Peyton Gottschall has done well as she works to Jenna Johnson here is working from ahead. That's 11 of 13 batters seeing a first pitch strike.
And she's doing it in different parts of the strike zone, too. Not always is it that curveball away to the righties, but sometimes she'll backdoor it on the inside part of the plate there, gets her swinging at that pitch up in the zone, something Coach Murphy just talked to us about how he wanted his team to see the ball down in the zone. Jenna Johnson finding herself behind in the count early in this one.
Patrick Murphy giving praise to Gottschall, who has thrown a ton of innings. Remember, before coming to Tennessee, she was at Bowling Green. She is the Division I active strikeout leader. 1,069 entering play this weekend, looking for one. And just looking for where that pitch was from the home plate umpire and from her catcher, Sophia Nugent. The 1-2. Out of play. Johnson brought in the Alabama run with a ground out back in the first. Rally worm activated. Starts with getting Johnson on base. And then, as Murphy said, passing the baton. Think about a relay and track. Get that momentum going. Person in front of you takes it. It keeps going. 2-2. One hop right side. Faw knocked it down. Calmly stuck with it. And makes the play. So Bella Faw out there in the field at second base. She was the starting shortstop before an injury this year. And here she is, 7-3 at the link. Giles tries to bunt her way on. She's retired. 2 down.
Looked like Giles was trying to catch the corner infielders for Tennessee, playing back just a bit, but that bunt went straight to Peyton Gottschall in the circle. Fields it cleanly and calmly, throws it over to first base. You can see just how far back those corners are playing, back behind the bases. Just bunted it straight to the pitcher in the circle for out number 2.
Bailey Dowling will step in. Line to center her first time. This is hard hit, but foul. I just get the feeling Dowling seeing the ball really well. Maybe the best she's seen it all season, as I mentioned. 6 for 12 in the tournament. Entering play here today. 1 for 2 with a double and a walk yesterday.
Got some hits on a variety of different speeds last weekend, too. Got some hits on some changeups. Double off the wall.
Let's that one go for ball 1, 1-1.
And right there's a good take, too. After fouling off that first pitch down that left field line, you'd think maybe the batter would be aggressive on the next pitch, but she's very patient, watches that one go barely outside for ball number 1.
2-1.
Another good take, same exact spot.
Bailey, a 4-year fixture for this Alabama team in the lineup. Her freshman year cut short by injury. Trying to extend her season by at least one more game, and this one is hit deep to left. West is back, looking up, and it is gone. The senior has delivered for Alabama to tie the game in the 4th.
The key to that swing, the key to the home run for Bailey Dowling are those 2 close takes on curveballs just missing outside of the zone right before that pitch. You could tell that she felt that she was in control in that at-bat. gets a pitch inside. This is a rise ball practically up at her helmet, Eric, and she just cranks this thing out to left field, gets her hands up above the ball, gets bottom half, the backspin, that she's able to get on the carry. Celebrating as she rounds third base, even looks back into that dugout. What a big swing by Bailey Dowling in that moment.
Caleb Bro is doing crowd control down in that Alabama dugout. I saw the plate umpire talking to Patrick Murphy.
Bama has a lot of props in the dugout. I do believe they have to stay within the dugout. Maybe in the excitement of the moment, one of the props might have come out of the dugout, yes.
Can't blame him. Get a home run off of Gottschall, who was dealing, and we had just talked about how Bailey Dowling is finding her swing. This is a line shot. Essman down the line for a base hit. Well, she's had a couple of good at-bats. That's her first hit today. Back-to-back hits for Alabama, and the Tide starting to roll.
How about the two-out hitting, too? That was something that stood out to us from the regionals last weekend. Alabama, as a team, batted .433 with 2 outs, and in this inning, both hits now, back-to-back hits with 2 outs. Getting really good pieces of these pitches, too. Esmond cranking that curveball down the right field into the ball game. Kinley Pate.
Riley Valentine, hard hit ball. Just a little wide of Patrick Murphy down at third, but right now Alabama making some solid contact against Gottschall. Valentine struck out looking back in the second. That hit Valentine. She will be awarded first base, first and second with 2 down.
Bama keeping this 2-out rally going in the bottom of the 4th inning. That pass the bat mentality that we heard from Coach Patrick Murphy. Doesn't matter how it's done, just try to find a way to continue putting the pressure on, putting runners on base. And it looks like might see a pitching change here for the Lady Volunteers.
Carlin Pickens leading the bullpen. Lineup, Alabama getting the advantage, and here is Pickens. Big hack by Hevelin for strike 1. Hevelin grounded out back in the third. This inning started innocently enough. Ground out to second, ground out to the pitcher on the bunt attempt, but then Dowling with the home run, Essman with the single, Valentine hit by the pitch. 2-2 game, and Alabama trying to pass that baton a couple more times here in this 4th inning.
Firm believer that you can learn so much from an at-bat, even from the takes, not just from the swings. And those takes by Bailey Dowling before that home run are what led to that pitch even being thrown in that at-bat.
Ground ball, backhanded by Faw. Good play to flip it over to Mueller for the force to
batters.
Strike 1 to Laura Mueller, leading off for Tennessee here in the 5th. Mueller with an RBI single with 2 outs back in the second to get Tennessee on the board. Mueller now 4 for 10 in the NCAA tournament. 1-1. Beaver threw 66 pitches in her 4 2/3 innings of work yesterday, giving up those 2 hits. Did not give up an earned run. And you can see her totals in the tournament. This will be pitch number 200 for the grad student. Transfer from Central Arkansas misses for ball 2.
You saw there that 62-mile-per-hour changeup. We saw her throw quite a few of those in yesterday's ball game, and getting up a strikeout against Kiki Malloy with that changeup. So not surprised that we're seeing her continue to throw more of those now as she's entered this ball game. It's just a different look, and even I got a chance to chat quickly with pitching coach Lance McMahon about that. Said that he liked the way that pitch looked and is going to continue to use it against this righty-dominant Tennessee lineup.
3-1 from Beaver. 3-2. So Jocelyn Brisky, the freshman from Phoenix, gives way to Beaver. Brisky goes 4, gives up 5 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, a walk, and no strikeouts in her 49 pitches. 3-2. Out of play.
The difference in yesterday's ball game was that swing by Mueller.
High fly ball to shallow left field. Jenner Johnson comes in a few steps and puts it away for out number 1.
It's going to be important, too, for Kayla Beaver to continue to work the rise ball inside, but make sure that she is getting it on the edge of the strike zone. Even that pitch there to Laura Mueller that we saw from yesterday's ball game just missed a little bit too much, more over the heart of the plate, still on the inner half, but that's an area that Laura Mueller can get her barrel extended to. So important for her to continue to work those edges.
Ball 1 to Malloy, who is 0 for 2 against Beaver yesterday, 0 for 2 today. Popped out to first in the first and popped out to Hevelin, who made a really good play, the second baseman, in the second. Grounded to Hevelin, backs up on it. Malloy, that's in time for the out. I think Malloy is going to stay on the base and Tennessee will challenge. Once you back up on a ground ball by Kiki Malloy with her speed, that's the danger zone.
Tennessee is challenging the previous play on the field at first base. Calling the field was out.
Hevelin almost looked like she took a step back to try to read the hops. Hit off the end of the bat. Kiki hustling straight out of the box. Looks safe to me on that replay.
Yep. And great point on Malloy. Just didn't even look at the ground ball, just put her head down and was just trying to get as much speed as possible to first base.
Because she even knows, too, since she's hit it a little bit up the middle, that gives her even more of a chance to reach base.
On the base, ball is not in the glove. This should be a successful challenge for Tennessee after the review by Pittsburgh.
And there was no bobble by Hevelin on the transfer, but it was just that step back deciding to try to read the hop back rather than come up on the short hop. That was the difference between out and safe at first base.
Remember, Tennessee had an unsuccessful challenge earlier in this game on a hit by pitch of Katsoyanopoulos. Umpires have
who has so much speed over at first base. 24 stolen bases for Kiki so far this season.
In 27 attempts. We'll see if she's going here. Panel at the plate. Takes ball 1.
Had that bunt for a base hit back in the first inning, so the corners for Bama having to respect the fact that she can lay down a bunt at any time.
Swinging away, that misses for ball 2. Reached on that bunt single in the first, flied out to right in the third.
Corners having to play up middles, pinch towards second base.
Popped up and playable. Right side foul ground, Esman. And Hevelin collide, it's a fair ball. They'll get a force play at second, so it's a fielder's choice, but remember, Esman getting the start at first base. She's made a couple of plays here today, but Emma Broadfoot usually over there at first. So a little communication issue, the two of them talking it through right now. Alabama does get the out.
It's a couple of times today where Bama has had multiple defenders going for the same fly ball, and tough spot for Kiki Malloy to be put into just because it's right behind first base, so it's not like you can creep really far off of first, and she just gets caught right in no man's land and thrown out on the force at second.
Here's Gibson with 2 down, 0 for 2 today. Ball 1. Gibson grounded into a double play to Hevelin, who tagged Panel, then threw on the first in the first, and then lined out the third in the third. The 1-0. Line shot to center field. It'll drop in for a base hit in front of White. Going from first to third is Panel, holding at first and getting back in time is Gibson. Runners on the corners with 2 down for Tennessee.
It's a prime example of that plate coverage that we were talking about with McKenna Gibson earlier in this ball game. Kayla Beaver decides to throw a pitch on the outside part of the plate, and McKenna Gibson gets around it, drives it right back up the middle, and the outfielder is playing extremely deep with Boo Gibson up at the plate because she has so much power. drops in front of Kristen White. Another pinch runner coming in for Tennessee.
Amanda Allin will run for Gibson at first. Sixth hit of the NCAA tournament for Boo Gibson. Keeps things going for Tennessee here in a 2-2 game in the top half of the fifth inning. Zeta Pooney was 0 for 2 against Brisky. She was 0 for 2 against Beaver yesterday.
Zeta's another one of those batters in this Tennessee offense that just has a tendency to step up with runners in scoring position. Coming into this ball game, batting .346 with runners in scoring position on the season.
2-0.
Beaver working another changeup in there. That one coming in a little faster, 64 miles per hour, but misses low in the zone.
And time is called. And we'll have a conversation pen for Alabama. 2-0 to Pooney. Called a strike, and it's 2-1. Two and two.
Good spots back-to-back in the exact same location. Pooney got the first one called for a strike, tries to get after that next one. I'd be tempted to ride it even further up and inside.
Count goes full, 3-2. With 2 outs, the runner at first, Allin, will be away with the pitch release.
And now you feel like you almost have to come back inside.
Up high, did she check? She did not. Strikeout for Beaver, who is fired up leaving the field. And team on to the Women's College World Series.
It's just that time of the year where these teams are willing to do and want to do whatever it takes to just stay together for one more week, especially when you've got teams that are loaded up with seniors like that Missouri team. Jenna Laird, Maddie Gallagher, Alex Honnold, so many seniors for that team just trying to fight and continue their season, and they put up quite the fight last weekend in the Columbia Regional 2. Coming from behind after losing Game 1 to Omaha, fought their way back, led by Lauren Krings in the circle. She was outstanding. Pitched again today for Mizzou.
Count now 1-2 to Kristen White. Alabama protesting that second pitch pretty loudly. That was called a strike. And down goes White. Tough to keep her off the base paths in the NCAA tournament. She strikes out here in the fifth.
She's had some success against Carlin Pickens too, but the arm side run on this pitch, watch how it dives down and away from the lefty Kristen White. Out of her hand, it looks like it's going to stay straight, stay on the outer half, but that last-minute bite that it has away from the barrels, another reason why Carlin Pickens has been so good in the circle for Tennessee, not just the velocity, but the late movement and the spin rate that she has on all of her pitches.
Abby Dukeshire, the sophomore, will pinch hit. Dukeshire's had a lot of plate appearances on the season. 0 for 5, though, in the NCAA tournament. Pitch hitting here for Pruitt. Dukeshire tied for the team lead in home runs with 6. With one swing of the bat, she could put Alabama in front here in the fifth inning. Up the middle, Mealer on the first, 2 down. Well, A&M and Texas meeting after us here, 5 Eastern time on ESPN. A&M had a 6-0 lead yesterday, held on to knock off the number 1 overall seed 6-5, Emily Kennedy, with another win in the circle. Trinity Cannon with a couple of home runs. Oklahoma advancing on to their 8th straight Women's College World Series after taking 2 games from Florida State. Oklahoma State start time moved to 6:30 Eastern time against Arizona. Oklahoma State with the run rule win over Arizona last night. 3 home runs for the Cowgirls in that game. Getting to the surprising result of the game because UCLA knocked off Georgia. We talked about Mizzou, but how about LSU goes to Stanford and they win 11-1 against the Cardinal in
You
game
and I
1.
have talked a lot about how that matchup would play out going into this weekend. LSU, a team that just does not strike out a lot. They've got a lot of veterans in their lineup, too, a lot of lefties in that lineup, and it seemed like a really intentional adjustment for them to try to get on top of the Nigeria Kennedy drop balls, which, of course, is something that's easier said than done. But Raylene Gutierrez with a big hit in that one. Allie Newland with a shot out to right field that might not have landed yet.
I don't think so. And Kelly Lynch had a grand slam in that game. So 11-1 the final. 9 o'clock Eastern time tonight on ESPN. Game 2 is Stanford on their home field trying to avoid elimination. Hanlon leaves it beat. It's 2-2. Ground ball to first. Katsoyanopoulos with it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Carlin Pickens. 5.
There were some great dance moves.
Yes.
In the stands. We can say that.
My man was living his best life. Sunny day. Super regionals.
Here we go. Yep. He was jamming the entire time the YMCA was playing. Oh, those are some choreographed moves. He's done that before.
I'm going to throw this out there. That man was vibing. Ground ball to third. Riley West is retired. 1 away.
How could you not be vibing? Ball game, super regionals, top of the 6th
checking
inning.
a lot of
Does it
boxes
get any
right
better?
here. I think that gentleman, right there, you speak for all of us, my friend. Yes, smiling, perfect day, watching some softball. Something tells me he wishes it wasn't a 2-2 game. He'd prefer a certain team to be ahead right now, but we're loving it. Some drama here in Knoxville, Alabama fighting to keep their season going here with Caleb Beaver in the circle. And she throws ball 1 to Sophia Nugent. Nugent hit her 11th home run of the season, her last time. One on one.
Nugent hit the ball hard in yesterday's ball game off of Caleb Beaver, too. Got robbed by Kristen White out in center field. Had to travel a long way into the right center gap. Hard hit line drive that direction. Already hit one hard today.
Not a play. It's 1-2. Here's that hard hit ball today for the home run.
Going back to the 4th inning, Sophia Nugent gets this pitch up and drills it out beyond the Smoky Mountains in left field. She's so good at pitches low in the zone because of the way that she uses her legs to initiate the power in her swing.
Out of play. Nugent, of course, trying to return to the Women's College World Series, a member of the Oklahoma team that won the title for a third straight time last season. In her first year now with Tennessee, and she has fit right in to be the everyday catcher for this Tennessee team. Another 1-2. Another foul ball.
Another one of those changeups from Caleb Beaver, too. An athletic move by Marley Giles back behind the plate as it ricocheted off of the backstop.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming as Beaver tries to put away Nugent. That's out of play.
Good at bat here, and you can see too after every one of these foul balls from Sophia Nugent, she's turning back to ask our home plate umpire whether or not that would have been called a strike, just to get a sense of his zone, knowing that Beaver likes to work all 4 quadrants of that strike zone.
Grounded to Hevelin and through Hevelin at second. 8-pitch at bat, should have been an out. Instead, Nugent safe at first. First error of the game for Alabama and their 3rd of the tournament.
It's another one of these ground balls where it looks like Callie Hevelin decides to take a step back to read the hop. Sometimes if you allow that ground ball to take that extra hop, that's when it can get a little bit funky on you, and that hop stayed down, went between her legs out into right field. And a runner on board now for the Lady Vols with just 1 away.
Strike 1 to Bellafaw. Fall ran for Rodriguez after Rodriguez singled in the second, stayed in the game to play second base, grounded out to third in the 4th. Inside for a ball. Foss started at shortstop in 22 games before a foot injury before the South Carolina series in conference play. Laura Mueller took over at short, and she has been an outstanding shortstop for this Tennessee team. Fall with a fly ball to right, shallow right field. Pruitt coming on, and she's got it for the out.
That right side of the field having to deal with the sun too when those balls get hit up into the air. Larissa Pruitt with the visor and the sunglasses on. Good communication on that one. Callie Hevelin clearing out of the way to let Pruitt take charge of that.
You can tell how odd it is because I'm looking at the first base bleachers, and the fans are really working the fans in the bleachers trying to stay cool.
The fans are fans of the fans in the stands? Is that enough fans?
That was poetry, Madison Shipman.
That's all I got.
Mic drop. Strike 1 to Katsoyanopoulos.
A variety of fans. Handheld fans.
The combo, the fan clap combo is always a strong move. Cooling yourself off, yet also rooting for your team. Katsoyanopoulos' foul ball. It's 0-2. There you see. I don't know what's happening here. Like, are the Tennessee fans trying to show like a little toughness here? Like, we're not fanning ourselves here. We don't need to.
Yeah, not a lot of handheld fans with Tennessee fans.
Is everything competitive between Alabama and Tennessee?
Always, at all times.
0-2 to Katsoyanopoulos. I think we heard Julia help the plate umpire Don Brown saying no. It was a ball. 1-2. Swung on and missed. Beaver with the strikeout. The error is not costly. The core crew here in Knoxville, that's Stacia Patterson and Allison Paris and Carter Mills, who, on a personal note, have been putting up with me during the fall sports season and the winter sports season, and our visits here in the spring for softball. But they do a fantastic job here year-round, and certainly a thank you to our people here in the Super Regional for being here early, staying late, and making things easy for us. This is lifted deep to left, but foul by Johnson here in the 6th. So thank you one and all for all your hard work here this weekend and all season long.
Cannot say thank you enough to all of the work that goes on behind the scenes to get these games on air. Just an incredible job from this crew really all season long. Working
in a full house today here at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium. 1-1. The count to Johnson. Grounded back up the middle. Mueller covers a lot of ground. Throws in time. Another great play by Laura Mueller at short, covering tons of ground to get the out. One away.
Mueller is so good at moving up the middle, moving to her left. This ground ball ends up on the second base side of second base. She calls off Bella Faw, knows that she has the momentum on that throw, throws on the run, a dart over to first base. Even the diving effort by Jenna Johnson. Just a great defensive play by Laura Mueller, and we've been seeing that from her all postseason long.
This is chopped left side. Gibson tries to get it on the short hop. It's a foul ball. I guess Giles hit it off her plate. I see foul being called by the third base umpire at the plate. Giles didn't move. She was pretty certain it was off of her body. So it's strike one.
Take another look at the swing here. Looks like it hits the inside of that left foot.
One on one. Pickens relieved Peyton Gottschall in the fourth inning. Dowling had homered off of Gottschall. Essman followed with a single. Valentine was hit by a pitch. That's when Pickens came on, and just by the looks of it here, Maddie, she's got better command and control of what she's trying to do than she did yesterday. That one gets away a little bit, but we saw that quite a bit yesterday in the game one start.
It just seemed like she was missing her spots quite a bit. Sophia Nugent back behind the plate. She would set up in one spot and the ball would end up going to the opposite side of the plate. And there were even times yesterday where the velocity dropped down quite a bit, almost as if Carlin Pickens was trying to aim and hit her locations. But
there's the changeup.
That's the one that you got to keep your eye on, because that was the first pitch that started to go a bit out of control for Carlin Pickens yesterday. But when she's able to locate that pitch for strikes, 64 miles per hour at the bottom part of the zone, just pulling the string on that off speed.
This is inside at 76. 3-2. Just as I had praised her command and her control, she gets a little loose with a couple. So Giles is aboard with one out.
Get that carry out of the yard.
That home run was against Peyton Gottschall, now facing Pickens for the first time today. Takes a big cut, strike one. Tough to catch up to 75 miles an hour, as Dowling found out on that first pitch. Yesterday she was 0 for 1 with a walk against Pickens. She was the first batter that faced Gottschall and doubled yesterday. 0-2.
And you wonder, too, if Tennessee might shy away from calling some of those changeups just because they've been a little bit erratic in this inning. She's thrown a couple of good ones, but also some that have made it to the backstop. And now with a runner at first base, I'd stick straight back to that fastball.
One and two.
Another good take by Bailey Dowling outside.
In the dirt, got away from the catcher. It's strike three, and Dowling's going to be safe. No, Dowling's going to be out because there's only one out. My bad. Thank you, Maddie.
Less than 2 outs, so
less than 2 outs, you can't take the base. But going to second is Giles.
Absolutely. And it was a changeup. They decided to throw that changeup. Looked like it skipped underneath Sophia Nugent back behind the plate.
So Pickens getting a little wild, but gets the strikeout of Dowling. And here is Essman. 2 down here in the 6th. Foul tip, perhaps off the bare hand of Katsoyanopoulos. Strike one.
That was Sophia Nugent.
Oh, Nugent.
That was shaking off her hand.
I'm thinking about last year's game.
Julia did quite a bit of catching for Tennessee last year. Her first time ever catching back behind the dish, but Sophia Nugent coming in, taking over that spot. Looks like she's okay.
Katsoyanopoulos' glove hand is the opposite hand
Yes.
of the catcher, because she was the left-handed catcher for Tennessee last year, position she had not played. So Nugent back there, it's 0-1. One to one. Two and one. Espen getting the start at first base today, and a conversation with Giles is still down at second. Looks like things are going to stay status quo here. No pinch runner. 2-1 the count to Lauren Espen. Singled in the fourth, flied out in the second. 2-2. Tennessee crowd starts to get a little louder. Now they'll make some noise. Strikeout for Pickens to retire the side as Alabama working in the dugout. We have viewers from coast to coast and around the world, and they are watching in Australia. Kellyville, Australia is where Charlie is from, so we want to say hello. She wanted to say hello to her folks.
Her parents, Christian and Lenine, watching. I believe she said it was a 17-hour time difference.
She was trying to do the math, and we just said it's
fans of softball all around the world.
It's early where they are tomorrow. So welcome those watching in the States and around the world. We've got a good one here. 2-2 in the seventh inning. A Tennessee win, and they will advance to the Women's College World Series. An Alabama win. We will have a decisive Game 3 here tomorrow in Knoxville. Laura Mueller, who was the hitting hero yesterday with her 2-run home run off of Beaver in the fifth inning to put Tennessee in front 3-2 at the plate. She is 1 for 2 with an RBI today. 2-2.
Beaver really working the low part of the zone with Laura Mueller, of course, with that home run that she hit in the back of her mind yesterday. Missed with that pitch just a little bit over the plate, but Mueller on the season has really good success against righty rise balls, batting .400 this year with 4 extra base hits.
This one is slapped out the right field, and it stays up just long enough for Pruitt to make a play on it. She slides, gets the grab, one away.
Really nice defensive play out in right field by Pruitt. Not easy to read those balls off of the bat, especially having to deal with the sun in right field. Gets a good jump on this, the sliding grab. You know, her pitcher, Kayla Beaver, is loving that in the circle when she's able to rob hits like that.
One out now in the top half of the seventh inning, and here is the all-time home run leader in Tennessee history, Kiki Malloy. Strike one. Malloy 1 for 3 today, popped out in the first, and again in the second, singled in the fifth. 3 for 12 in the NCAA tournament with 4 walks. 13 of her 69 home runs coming this season. The 0-1. Up the middle, gloved by Haviland, but she won't have a play, and Malloy's got her second hit of the game. It comes with 1 out here in the top of the seventh.
Back-to-back hits for Kiki Malloy, just driving it right back up the middle. Good swing here, gets it off the end of the bat and immediately takes off out of the batter's box, and a nice stop here by Callie Heveland. But as soon as you leave your feet with Kiki Malloy, she's going to beat it out. But a good defensive stop backing up her pitcher.
Here's Panel, who's 1 for 3. Ball 1. Karen Weekly got aggressive yesterday in the Alabama win. She went with the hit and run. Turned out to be a stolen base for Riley West. Do they run or hit and run here in a tie game in the 7th?
I like the move of putting people in motion, especially when you've got Malloy over at first base.
1-1.
Ended up being a fly ball that was dropped behind her the last time she reached base safely over at first. Got thrown out on that fielder's choice, the force out at second base.
Back to the pitcher. Throws to second for one. On to first. A 1-6. No. 3. Double play is not called, as beating it out is Panel. 2 down.
Really close.
It was.
Really close. I guarantee Coach Patrick Murphy deciding whether or not he wants to review that call over at first base, talking to his coaches, Caleb Rowe on the coaching staff for Alabama.
Already been challenged by Alabama, so will it be a double play? And the top of the 7th is over.
After review, the call on the field is upheld. We have safe at first.
So fielder's choice for Panel. She's aboard with 2 down. Here is Gibson. Grounded into a double play in the first, lined out in the third, singled her last time up in the 5th. Grounded left side, Dowling on the first to retire the side. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's a 2-2. Has done that here in the postseason for Alabama, facing Pickens here, leading off the 7th. Check swing to third, and with one pitch, one away here in the 7th.
Bit of a defensive swing there by Riley Valentine. Didn't look like she really intended to put that ball in play. But ball met bat, and out number 1.
I'll bring up Callie Hevelin, who's 0 for 2 today. Ball 1 from Carlin Pickens. One and 1. Evelyn hit 8 home runs a season ago. She has 6 this season. This is back to Pickens. The throw to first. 2 down.
Jammed up both batters on pitches inside. Evelyn a couple of strikeouts yesterday against Pickens, and Pickens goes right after her with that fastball in. Ground ball out into 2 quick outs in this bottom of the 7th for Bama.
So you have Kristen White coming to the plate. With her speed, you can just see the infielders, and look how close Kiki Malloy is in center field. The outfielders are just a few steps beyond the infield. She offered for strike 1.
Kristen White has had a lot of success against Pickens throughout this season. She was the one that broke up the no-hitter during their series in Tuscaloosa. Got the game-winning hit against Pickens in Game 3.
This is tapped back behind the plate, and it's 0-2. She was 4 for 6 in that series against Tennessee pitching. Down in the count, 0-2. Kristen stretch out a couple times. We saw when she was at second base earlier. I wonder if she's 100% fighting through it here. Leaves it be for a ball, 1-2.
It does almost look like at times she's kind of gingerly walking back into that batter's box.
I think we saw it early in the game, too, when she had that stolen base in the first inning. She came up. She just needed a moment. I wonder if there's something connected to that. Swung on and missed. Held on to by Nugent behind the plate. And it's a 1. Ball one.
We saw in between innings, too, Coach Chris Malveaux, the hitting coach for Tennessee, gather up his team, talking about the adjustments that they needed to make against Kayla Beaver. You'll even see him continue to talk to these batters right at the mouth of the dugout, trying to see what they can do to put some solid barrel on these pitches. She's mixing in that changeup more and more throughout the game. We've seen that command of that pitch really be spot on for Kayla Beaver. Typically, the scouting report on her throughout this season has been that she likes to live in the high 60s into the low 70s, doesn't mix speeds a lot, but she's changed her game plan this weekend.
Pooney with a fly ball, foul ground, drifting, and out of play. Long run by Johnson to give it a look. Well, you talked about that with Kayla Beaver before the start of this regional, how she takes a lot of pride, and it's one of the things she does well is making adjustments at bat to at bat, game to game as things progress.
Typically, you'd think the more at bats that a batter has against the pitcher, the more the advantage is going to go to the batter, but Kayla Beaver feels differently. She likes being able to have all of that information and utilize the adjustments that she can make within a game or even game to game. But now that she's had to face this Tennessee offense so many times throughout this season, she's got an entire season's worth of analytics that she can use to try to come up with these game plans against this righty offense.
3-2, the count now to Zeta Pooney, leading things off for Tennessee in the 8th. Struck out against Beaver her last time. Good eye by Pooney. It's a leadoff walk here in the 8th. We'll have a pinch runner for Zeta as Riley West gets set to come in. Katie Taylor will run for Pooney.
Kayla Beaver just gave up the one free pass in yesterday's ball game. It was to Riley West to start off that 5th inning, and she ended up coming around the score and kind of started the rally offensively for Tennessee. She's a pitcher that brings a ton of energy when she's out there in the circle. You can tell she's communicating with her infielders where they need to be positioned for the batter coming up next.
So Patrick Murphy getting the change for the pinch runner. Giving Beaver a moment. Check in with her infield. And Riley West will step in. 1 for 3 today. Singleton scored in the 2nd. Popped out to the catcher in the 4th. Grounded to 3rd against Beaver in the 6th. West came into this game 2nd on the Tennessee team in OPS at 1157, and she's been outstanding in the postseason. Strike one. Just to follow up on your point, Pooney with the leadoff walk. It's the first time the leadoff has been aboard for Tennessee today. There was one time where the leadoff got aboard yesterday, and that's what you mentioned in the 5th inning when Tennessee scored 3 runs. West with a pop-up on the infield. Essman calling for it. Everyone gets out of the way, and she puts it away for out number 1.
Quick at bat there to Riley West, but I like the pitch sequence of going outside with the curveball on the first pitch, getting Riley West maybe thinking that she's going to go back to that same spot and then rides the rise ball up and underneath the hands. Doesn't allow her to get extended on that fly ball to the infield. Just like that momentum just shifting back and forth in this extra inning game.
Sophia Nugent with 1 down. Strike 1. Nugent walked in the 2nd, was left stranded at 3rd. Tennessee left the bases loaded in the 2nd inning. Hit a 1-out home run in the 4th, her 11th of the season, and reached on an error in the 6th. One and 1. 58 pitches in relief for Kayla Beaver, who threw 66 pitches in her start yesterday. Certainly manageable numbers. Beaver ready with the 1-1. Fly ball to center field. Room there for Kristen White on the track. 2 down.
Could tell that Sophia Nugent was looking for something lower in the zone. Looked like maybe they went to a screwball or even a rise ball that didn't quite have the jump up on it. Just barely missed. Kristen White able to track that one down into deep center field.
So with 2 down and a runner on, a pinch hitter here for Tennessee as Karen Weekly will send Jamison Brockenbrough to the plate. She'll hit for Faw with 2 down. Different look certainly for Beaver here after an all right-handed lineup. Brockenbrough, the lefty, steps in. Strike 1.
Brockenbrough hit a couple of home runs for Tennessee last season. One of those home runs was against Alabama in the first game of the Women's College World Series. So some success late into the postseason for Jamison Brockenbrough.
That was a 10-5 win for Tennessee in OKC last year. Oh, that came in and hit her. 2-1 with 2 out here in the 8th.
Brockenbrough looking like she's going to take a second to walk back behind first base. This one just gets her on that left elbow, the backed elbow. No shield on that back arm.
No.
That got her pretty square on the elbow. Looks like she's all right. High-fiving Coach Kate Malveaux over at first base.
So another pinch hitter here for Tennessee as Gabby Leach will step in.
Tennessee number 55, Gabby Leach.
She'll bat for Katsoyanopoulos. So back-to-back lefties here for the Lady Vols against Beaver. Leach 4 hits in 14 at-bats as a pinch hitter on the season. Gabby 0 for 2 in the tournament. Ball 1. One thing that Kayla Beaver told us earlier this week, she prefers to face left-handed batters. So she's getting back-to-back lefties here.
And her batting average against left-handed batters at 195. Just slightly better than the 199 against right-handed batters.
You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It was more of a feel thing. And generally, you say, well, righty versus lefty advantage hitter, but in her eyes, she just likes how it sets up to.
And I think it's because she likes to establish the inside part of the plate, and she can run the curveball and the rise ball in on those left-handed batters.
This is a slow roller to Hevelin at second, who makes the play, throws to first to retire the side. Heading to the bottom half of Oklahoma City tomorrow. If Tennessee wins, they will advance on to the Women's College World Series for a second consecutive year. Good walk-off memories in the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma City back in 2019. Destiny Rodriguez back into the game to play second base, and here is Pruitt. Pitch hit for by Dukeshire in the 5th inning. She's back in there after striking out twice against Gottschall earlier in the game.
Swung on top of a couple of curveballs in those strikeouts against Gottschall you mentioned, and she swings on top of that drop ball outside from Carlin Pickens. Got to try to get that barrel underneath that pitch to put it in play.
Ooh, that came in on an 0-2 pitch and hit Pruitt. And they appealed to third, saying, wondering if she swung at it. She moved her body, and Karen Weekly is out onto the field to protest that call. That ran in so hard on Pruitt, and as part of the move at her on an 0-2 pitch. And the winning run is at first base for Alabama with nobody out here in the 8th. Cahalan swings at the first pitch and fouls it off for strike one. Cahalan reached on an infield single in the first, popped out in the third, and grounded out in the 5th. Pickens on in relief of Peyton Gottschall has not given up a hit. 1-1. She struck out 4, hit a batter, and has walked 1. She has been locked in relief, and she's had to be in a tight game. 2-2 in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-1. 2-1.
Got a lot of ground ball outs, too. 5 ground ball outs along with those strikeouts to these Alabama batters. Could tell by the first swing by Cahalan in this at-bat, just trying to anticipate where that drop ball is going to end up, get underneath and try to drive it out to the grass.
Grounded, stopped by Gibson, but it rolls away from her. It's going to be a base hit, first and second. Gibson with a diving play to keep it from getting to the outfield, and that makes Pruitt stop at second base. But Alabama's got something cooking here in the 8th.
You could just even tell from that foul ball earlier in the at-bat that Kenley Cahalan was seeing the ball pretty well out of the hand of Carlin Pickens. Hits it straight down the line. The diving effort by McKenna Gibson, and it scoots away. But a solid ball that's put in play to continue this rally for Alabama with nobody away.
Johnson looking to bunt, offered at it for strike one. Here is one of the seniors for this Alabama team, hoping that the season does not end today. Jenna Johnson, 0 for 3 with an RBI, was robbed of a hit in the 6th. Johnson squares, misses again for strike 2.
Now with 2 strikes, you're probably going to see these corner infielders for Tennessee back up just a bit. After missing both bunt attempts in this at-bat for Jenna Johnson, we saw her go to the slap earlier in the game against Peyton Gottschall just to get the ball on the ground to move the runners.
Pickens gets the strikeout. 1 down. Strikeout number 5 for Carlin Pickens.
Great location on this pitch, and actually looked like she took a little bit off of it coming in at 67 miles per hour, but it's that run inside to the righties, that late movement almost wraps around the right-handed batters.
There's sophomore Marley Giles, 0 for 2 with a walk. Strike 1. Giles missed 29 games with an injury. She was hit by a pitch in the Kentucky series at the end of March, returned for the Auburn series in the first week of May. Got her first at-bat since the injury in the SEC tournament against LSU. Here she is in the NCAA tournament in a huge spot with a chance to force a Game 3 here in Knoxville. Pruitt at second, Cahalan at first. That run at second, all that matters right now in the bottom of the 8th. 0-2.
You and I have been talking about it for the past 2 games. When Carlin Pickens is in the zone, she is nailing her spots with that off-speed pitch, with that changeup, and this one 64 miles per hour painted on the corner of that plate. Gets Marley Giles looking for out number 2.
Here's Dowling with 2 down. Ground ball right side, Rodriguez over to first, and Pickens gets out of the jam. The
Winner here with you, Texas and Texas A&M. Jasmine Hill, 2-run shot, Jenny.
Yeah, a shot to left center, her 9th home run, her first since March 17th, a 2-run shot.
She was 1 for her last 16 entering the Super. 2 hits yesterday, a bomb today. 2-0 Aggies.
Thank you, Matt. All coming together for Texas A&M right now, trying to pull off the stunner in Austin here today. Here in Knoxville, we're heading to the top of the 9th inning in a 2-2 game.
I feel like you and I have just had a smile on our face the entire time. Free softball, super regional, one of these teams trying to work their way to the Women's College World Series. We've been on the edge of our seats, it feels like now, for about, 7 innings straight, it feels like?
We'll see if one of these teams falls off the edge of their seat here today. Who keeps their balance in these late innings? It's the 9th. Tennessee in the top of the 9th with Mueller and Malloy and Panel. Mueller 1 for 3, RBI single with 2 outs in the 2nd, flied out in the 5th, and lined out to right in the 7th. It's been in relief, but what a pitching showdown between Beaver and Pickens. Pickens, after hitting the batter last inning, just found a different level the rest of that inning, it seemed.
And Beaver has just been doing such a good job of really jamming up all of these righties that have come into the box for Tennessee.
Out of play.
And she's dotting both sides of the plate. She'll go away with the curveball, and then it's the rise ball and the location of it, too. That's so important for Beaver to be able to establish that part of the plate, but not just inside, and making sure it's up in the zone, too. Working diagonally is what she told us that she's trying to do, working low and away to the righties, and then also working up and in.
Popped up. This looks to be playable. It's Essman, the first baseman. Heads up play to come in and call off Giles. 1 away.
And the confidence that she has to throw that rise ball again to Laura Mueller after what she did on that pitch yesterday, but just knowing that she can be better with her locations, and the difference in the home run and the pop-up to first base right there is just getting it a little bit further inside, a little bit further up. The game of inches, just been a game of inches between these two teams during this Super Regional.
That's been your theme, and it's certainly been the case. This one skips up for ball 1 to Kiki Malloy. Malloy 2 for 4. Singled in the 5th and again in the 7th. Beaver came on to start the 5th inning. Now working here in the 9th. Right side, Hevelin knocks it down, tries to find the handle, not in time. Malloy's aboard with her 3rd straight hit. Great effort by Callie Hevelin at second base, but just could not get up in time, and with Malloy's speed, it had to be perfect. She's aboard with 1 down.
And you have to get rid of it so quickly, too. As soon as you leave your feet, she's moving to the 3-4 hole, and she tries to just do the backhanded flip over to first base. Malloy with so much explosive speed coming out of that right-handed batter's box, able to just beat that one out by a step.
Here's Panel. There goes Malloy, and she has made it to second safely with a stolen base. We wondered in the 5th inning and again in the 7th inning, would she get the sign the steal? We didn't have to wait very long here in this 9th inning. I think it's going to be challenged maybe by Alabama to see if she left the base early.
One hop throw to Cahalan from Marley Giles back behind the plate. Slides in right before that tag.
Remember, this is a newly reviewable play this season.
Alabama is challenging the previous play on the runner leaving. On the field, we have leaving on time.
Eric, it feels like this is one of those rare times where this review is actually happening on a stolen base attempt, and it looks to me like she's on time there. That back foot still on the base, and Kayla Beaver
right
releasing
on time,
the ball.
Maddie, right on time. It's just in sync, and when you're a player like Kiki Malloy, an All-American, you've timed these things out pretty well. But to your point, we have seen this used by coaches, not necessarily on a stolen base, but maybe it's on a home run to see if a runner left early, and that would take that off the board. But in this case, like you just said, this is to see if this will be a successful steal, or did she leave the bag before the ball left the hand of the pitcher?
It's about as close as it gets, but yes. I think you and I are in agreement that it looked like she left on time at first base.
I don't know if Kiki can bear to hear this. She doesn't even want to look. She's locked in now.
After review, the ruling on the field is upheld. She left on time.
I love it. I love it. 142nd stolen base of her career, one off of the Tennessee all-time record. What a moment for it, and what a reaction.
And it was a pretty good throw down by Marlee Giles, too, so she had to leave perfectly on time to be able to be in safely at second base. But most importantly, it gets a runner over into scoring position now for Taylor Pannell.
Pannell takes the ball. So Alabama unsuccessful on that challenge. They're out of challenges. You could have a moment if something is in doubt where Patrick Murphy, if he needs a challenge, he can talk to the umpires and just say, let's make sure we get this right, even if he doesn't have a challenge.
Yeah, after the sixth inning, the umpires can initiate a video review.
Now Beaver perhaps losing the zone. 3-0 with Malloy yelling behind her at second base, imploring Pannell at the plate. Three and one. Pannell reached on a bunt single in the first, flied out in the third, reached on a fielder's choice, was stranded at third in the fifth, and reached again on a fielder's choice in the seventh. 3-1. Grounded back to Beaver on to first for the out. Moving over to third is Malloy. 2 down.
Good job by Beaver, though, to battle back in that count. Throwing pitches, not over-adjusting, too. That's the key when going up against a Tennessee offense, is just bringing those pitches just a little bit further into that strike zone. Because when you over-adjust, that's when you miss over the heart of the plate. A couple of good back-to-back pitches there to get out number 2.
Here's Gibson, 1 for 4 today. For the season, McKenna Gibson, 414 with runners in scoring position. That is best on this Tennessee team. Gibson lifts a fly ball to deep right field. Moving back is Pruitt, and she's got it at the track to retire the side.
These SEC on SEC postseason matchups, which, like we joked around yesterday, just seemed to be a tradition for Tennessee and Alabama to match up in the postseason.
Here is Lauren Essman, who's 1 for 3. 0 for 1 against Pickens, struck out in the 6th. One and one. Essman was 1 for 1 yesterday. So a couple of hits here in the Knoxville Super Regional. Trying to get on base here against Carlin Pickens, who gave up an infield single last inning. First hit she's yielded in 4 1/3 innings of work so far in relief. She has been much sharper, much more in command of her pitches than she was yesterday. Foul ball, and it's 2-2.
The difference that I'm seeing from Carlin Pickens yesterday into today is the pitches that follow maybe some of the erratic ones that she's throwing outside of the zone. Even in this at-bat to Lauren Essman, misses up and outside and then comes right back with a strike inside. Those quick adjustments that she's being able to make on the feel of her pitches have made the difference.
This is chop to Gibson's got to hurry. Esmond down the line and in time for the out. One away.
Tough play there for McKenna Gibson at third base. Esmond moves pretty good coming out of that lefty batter's box, and a high chopper off the end of the bat. She had to charge it, get it on that mid-hop, and get rid of it in a hurry, and she just beats Esmond to the base by about a half a step.
Riley Valentine steps in with one down. Valentine was 3 for 6 in the Tuscaloosa Regional, including a 2-run pinch hit home run in the top of the 9th inning against Southeastern Louisiana, which started a 5-run inning in that victory for the Crimson Tide. 1-1. Two and one. Now Riley is the keeper of the good luck charm for this Alabama team, the Rally Worm, which is on the end of a stick they found in Tuscaloosa. I don't know who takes care of the Rally Worm when the keeper of the Rally Worm is at the plate. I'm sure it's in good hands. Popped up in on the hands. That's Rodriguez calling for it. 2 down.
I believe I heard that it was KJ Haney, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Takes control of the
Again, your
the
analysis and your preparation, second to none. They've tried to keep it loose, tried to have more fun in the Alabama dugout after stumbling down the stretch in the regular season in the SEC, and here they are in the Super Regionals for an 18th time.
And rediscovering who they are as an offense, too, just knowing they're not a team that's going to put up a ton of home run numbers, but there are many ways that they can manufacture runs relying on that speed. And then, of course, the home run today by Bailey Dowling.
Ball 1 to Haviland, who's 0 for 3 today. Alabama scored in the first and again in the fourth. Quiet since then for the Tide. Tennessee scored in the second and in the fourth. Since then, zeros thrown. Now by Pickens for Tennessee and Beaver for Alabama. The 1-1. Checked her swing, it's 2-1. It's Haviland. Second batter hit by Pickens, and that one is painful.
Looks like where she's squeezing, maybe right on the forearm with that pitch inside.
It wasn't feeling 100%, but we'll see what happens here with the pinch hitter, Kendall Clark, trying to end the game right now with Clark at the plate. Clark swinging at the first pitch, thrown by Pickens for strike 1. Clark on the season, 253, 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in, 0 for 3 in the Tuscaloosa Regional, 2 for 5 this season as a pinch hitter. Alabama trying to keep their season alive. 1-1. An Alabama win will have a third and final game here in the Tuscaloosa Super Regional tomorrow. Tennessee victory, they're going back to the Women's College World Series for a second consecutive year. One and two.
A couple of pretty good swings there by Kendall Clark, pinch hitting for Kristen White, who we can see over in that Alabama dugout. Cheering on her teammate, batting for her in this pivotal moment of this ball game.
The 1-2 pitch. Pickens gets the strikeout to retire the side. 7 strikeouts in relief for the SEC pitcher.
Been outstanding for Alabama, really holding back this Tennessee offense. Going to try to continue to do that here in the top of the 10th.
Beaver begins her 6th inning of work, and it's a 1-pitch to Pooney play here in the 10th. Ground ball back to the pitcher, 1 away. So Beaver, 78 pitches in her 5 1/3 innings of work, 4 hits, hasn't given up a run, has walked 1, struck out 2. 78 pitches today. She threw 66 pitches in her start yesterday. Here's Riley West. Strike 1. Jocelyn Brisky started, went 4, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. They were earned a walk through 49 pitches. The 0-1 to West. 1-1. West singled and scored in the 2nd. Popped out in the 4th and again in the 8th and grounded out in the 6th. 7 hits in the NCAA tournament. 9 runs batted in. 2-1.
Continuing to see more and more of those changeups too. That one just missing down for a ball. The first pitch that Zaina Pooney put in play was another one of those changeups. But she's not quite throwing it enough to where you go up there and sit that pitch, but efficient in when she does decide to throw it.
2-2.
Lance McMahon calling pitches in that Alabama dugout for Kayla Beaver.
Hammered foul. 1 year ago, Alabama lost game 1 of the Super Regionals in Tuscaloosa to Northwestern 3-1, but bounced back at a 1-run win in game 2 and then a 3-2 win in the decisive game 3, which happened to be Montana Fouts' 100th career victory. Trying to find a little of that magic here on the road in Knoxville. Another one back to Beaver. Another out at first, 2 down.
When she's able to get ahead, too, that's when she can expand the strike zone, especially with that curveball away to all these righties in the lineup. She's got some late bite, good velocity on that curveball. Out of her hand, looks like it's a pitch that's going to stay on that outer half of the plate, but once you decide to swing, especially when you're in an aggressive 2-strike mindset, we've seen a lot of those weak ground balls off the end of the barrel.
It's a great point. The last 2 hits given up by Beaver have been infield hits. Malloy in the 7th and again in the 9th. She walked Pooney in the 8th and she hit Brockenbrough in the 8th. Nugent homered in the 4th. That was against Jocelyn Brisky, the starter. Out of play, and it's 1-1.
Nugent's one of the few ones against Beaver today that's had a really solid swing, got some good barrel on it. It was the fly ball to deep center field back in the 8th inning. Wouldn't be surprised if you start to see Kayla Beaver try to climb that ladder up in the zone a bit more, knowing she hit that screwball out to center field in her last at-bat.
1-2. Nugent asked for time to go talk to hitting coach Chris Malveaux, Maddie.
You'll see Tennessee do this, too, periodically throughout the game. The batters will initiate timeout, go over and have that quick conversation. We got to talk to a couple of the players about that before this weekend. Oftentimes, it's when the at-bat starts to really speed up on them. They fall behind early in the count, and they just need that little quick piece of advice. Maybe it might be even a laugh, just to get them refocused, slow things down a bit up at the plate. Coach Chris Malveaux, in his 3rd season, has made a tremendous impact on this program.
Two and two.
It's a good take and a good spot, too. That's the location, that curveball away that we've seen a lot of those weak ground balls hit to these Alabama infielders.
Time called at the plate. I think it was by Marley Giles. We are ready. Here's the 2-2. Out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top half of the 10th inning in the Knoxville Super Regional. A game that is now 3 hours old as we hit 6:05 in the East. The weather certainly cooperating. Thunderstorms, heavy storms rolled through Tennessee this morning. Timing's perfect. Everything cleared out. Blue skies, a few puffy clouds nearby. On a beautiful, warm Memorial Day weekend Saturday afternoon here in Knoxville. Another 2-2 from Beaver. Full count.
Kayla Beaver initiating timeout on that one.
Pitch comm issue. Well, I just said the game's 3 hours old. Maybe the
batteries?
The batteries have gone dead. It's time to put things on the charger.
I'd say it's pretty important to make sure that your pitcher's getting the signals from the dugout.
Not everybody uses the electronic communication. Peyton Gottschall got the start for Tennessee as one who tried it, didn't like it, goes with the old school signals on the wristband. Didn't have a super regional game go this far a season ago. They went 11 innings back 2 years ago. 3-2. Grounded to the third baseman, Dowling over to first, and it's a 1-2-3 inning on 3 groundouts for Kayla Beaver, who's been here in Knoxville. I think the Rubber Chickens are a new addition since arriving here at Tennessee. Ball 1 to Larissa Pruitt, leading off the bottom half of the 10th inning. Floppy and Gerald, the name of the Rally Rubber Chickens.
Is that Floppy or Gerald? Do we know?
One to Pruitt. Pickens hit her with an 0-2 pitch last time. That was in the 8th inning. Chop to first. Katsoyanopoulos makes the play, gets the tag for the out. 1 away.
Pretty smart play by Katsoyanopoulos at first base, too. She actually grabbed that one before it bounced just to make sure that it didn't go foul when she had the opportunity to get that quick first out of this bottom of the 10th inning. High chopper off of the bat of Larissa Pruitt actually avoids the tag, tries to avoid the tag by moving around Katsoyanopoulos.
Well, excuse me, swing by Cahalan, fouls it off for strike 1. 2 for 4 today, an infield single in the first, another infield single in the 8th for the sophomore shortstop.
Cahalan looked like she was seeing the ball really well in her last at-bat against Carlin Pickens with that hard ground ball down that third base line. Diving attempt by McKenna Gibson. Looking for something away and went right with it.
2-1.
Good takedown of the dirt there. Good pick by Nugent behind the plate as well. Nugent's been working hard back there all weekend long, still communicating with her pitcher too.
See the Alabama catcher on deck. That is Giles, actually in the hole behind Johnson. Both catchers putting in some work here on a warm day in Knoxville. In the regular season, Tennessee was trying to sweep Alabama in Tuscaloosa, but in Game 3, it was a 1-0 win for the Crimson Tide. Kenley Cahalan, a couple hits in that game, including a triple. This is slapped foul to left.
Seems to be pretty on those fastballs, too, even with that foul ball hitting it square on the barrel. This might be one of those times that Pickens tries to bust out that changeup that we've seen periodically from her today.
Pickens now at 80 pitches for Tennessee. Brings another 2-2 to Cahalan. That's up high, and the count is now full to Cahalan. Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Grounded to second. Rodriguez backs up on it, throws the first, 2 down.
Pickens just sticking with the velocity in that at-bat, and Cahalan looked like she was on time for that last swing, just rolled over on top of it. That's the benefit of having that late downward movement on even the fastballs that Pickens throws out there. Rodriguez getting that one on the long hop for out number 2 over at first.
Jenna Johnson 0 for 4 with a run batted in. Steps in with 2 down and the base is empty. Ball 1.
Tried to throw her a changeup there too. Skips off of the dirt, off of Nugent. Kind of pinballs around on that left side.
Grounded to Mealer at short. Nice hop forward, makes the throw, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Carlin Pickens. Hop, long one back in the day as we head to the 11th. Rodriguez leading off. Ball 1. What a story that would be. Texas A&M making their first trip to the Supers in 6 years, and if they win today, they go to the Women's College World Series, and they do it by knocking off their rivals from Austin. That would be... We saw it got a little spicy last night. 2-0. Oklahoma already advancing, as well as UCLA with their wins yesterday. As is tradition, and it's good to see they did not miss this detail at Love's Field. There's a strike, it's 2-1. The removable panel on the outfield wall for Oklahoma after the Super Regionals win to bring it to home plate. You knew they would not miss that detail when designing that ballpark.
Whole team sprints out there too. They all know it.
2-1. Rodriguez with a pop-up to left field. Jenna Johnson there for the out. Well, it's so funny how quickly things change. You and I were in Oklahoma City for the Big 12 championship a couple weeks ago, and the talk at that time is like, uh-oh, what's wrong with Oklahoma? Is the door open for someone else? The door is still open. There are still plenty of good teams, but we saw in that tournament and in that championship against Texas, Oklahoma was Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma wasn't happy with the way that they finished out the regular season either, losing that series to Oklahoma State at Love's Field in Norman. It almost seemed like they carried just a little bit of an extra edge to them when they got into that Big 12 tournament, ended up facing off against Texas, beating them in that Big 12 tournament championship.
Katsoinopoulos 0 for 3 was pinch hit for back in the 8th. Re-entered and takes a strike, and it's 1-1. Straight NCAA tournament game wins for Oklahoma, so they're back in the Women's College World Series. UCLA making their 32nd trip to the Women's College World Series. That's a foul ball. Oklahoma State's hoping to join UCLA and Oklahoma. LSU hoping to join those teams as well, but there will be game 3s in the Columbia region after Missouri beat Duke today. There'll be a game 3 in Gainesville after Baylor knocked off Florida today. TBD here in Knoxville. Katsoyanopoulos with a one-out single to right here in the 11th.
We've been talking about how that curveball has been the pitch that Kayla Beaver's been going to with these right-handed batters. She goes to it again, and Julia Katsoyanopoulos makes a great adjustment on this swing. You could see just how deep that one got into the zone so she could get solid barrel on that pitch and drive it the opposite direction.
Laura Mueller. Tap left side. The shortstop charges. Cahalan the first in time. 2 down.
Another curveball outside, and Mueller came around on this swing, making it a really difficult play for Kenley Cahalan over at shortstop. Had no choice but to charge the slow developing ground ball. Actually had to move to her right a bit to get around that ground ball. Throws it on the run, and it's a good one over to first base to just get Mueller.
First pitch to Malloy. Misses for ball 1. And they're going to walk her. So an intentional walk to Kiki Malloy with first base open and 2 down here in the 11th.
I think this goes back to what Kiki Malloy did against Kayla Beaver in Game 3 of their series down in Tuscaloosa earlier this year. Kayla Beaver only gave up 2 hits that entire game. Both of them were to Kiki Malloy, and it was the adjustment she made on those outside pitches, driving it through the 3-4 hole, driving it out to right field. So they're going to go ahead and put her on base and challenge Taylor Panel.
Now Malloy had 3 plate appearances today against Beaver, all base hits, 2 infield hits. So an intentional walk to Kiki Malloy, first and second, with 2 down for Taylor Panel. Tennessee fans coming to their feet here at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium in the 11th inning. Ball 1. One and 1.
Good off-speed pitch, that changeup. She's really feeling that pitch in today's ball game, and she's disguising it well too. She's not tipping that pitch. She's not slowing down in her arm motion, and that's why you're seeing those swings and misses way out in front.
1 and 2.
Another moment here where Taylor Panel called time herself to have a chat with Coach Chris Malveaux.
And Karen Weekly is going to talk to the plate umpire, Don Brown. Panel heading back to the plate. Beaver steps in. Ready with the 1-2 pitch. Out of play. Panel with 4 hits in the NCAA tournament, including a bunt single in the first inning today. Had an outstanding run in conference play for Tennessee. In on the hands, popped up. Dowling gets there for the out to retire the side. Again, Kayla Beaver getting it done. Mission to walk this off and set up a game 3 here Sunday in Knoxville. Ball one to Marley Giles. Giles popped up in the first, grounded out in the fourth, walked and was stranded at second in the sixth, struck out looking against Pickens in the eighth. Ground ball to the shortstop. Mueller, one away.
We got a chance to talk to Coach Patrick Murphy. It was before that series that they played against Tennessee down in Tuscaloosa, just about the adjustments that they needed to make going up against Carlin Pickens because she throws that consistent velocity. He said they like to go to what's called a grid approach, and everybody has a little bit of something different, whether it's choking up on the bat, going to a slap, moving back in the box, just trying to figure out a way to make those adjustments.
Strike one to Bailey Dowling, 1 for 4 today. Homered back in the fourth for the second Alabama run.
Because that's really step one of hitting against Carlin Pickens, is trying to be on time for that 74, 75 mile per hour pitch out of her hand.
Or if she mixes it up with a 65 mile per hour change, good luck.
And it's impossible to be on time for both, so you really just have to pick one speed and full out go for it within the at-bat.
Down and in, swung on and missed. Strikeout for Pickens, 2 down.
The movement on this pitch, too. The arm side run down in the zone, and it wraps around behind Bailey Dowling. Not only do you have to be on time, but you have to adjust to the late movement. And already coming in hot, you've got the movement moving even further inside. Feels like it's getting on you even that much quicker.
Ball one to Essman. You have to go back to the fourth inning for the last time that Alabama got a ball past the infield, and that was when Lauren Essman singled in the fourth inning. That was against Peyton Gottschall, who would face one more batter, and then Pickens would come on, and she would just dominate. We'll lead things off in the top of the 12th inning for Tennessee. Once again, the visiting team here in Game 2 of the Super Regional here in Knoxville. What has stood out the most to you about Kayla Beaver and the work she's done in the circle for Alabama, Maddie?
The locations in which she's throwing her drop balls and her curve balls outside to the righties, but I've talked about it, the rise ball up and inside to the right-handed batters, too, is such an effective pitch for her. Goes to the screwball low and inside, 69 miles per hour, but when you're able to change the eye level so drastically in two completely different quadrants of the strike zone, it forces the batters to have to look in one of those locations, and if they're looking in the wrong one, you're going to get ahead early in the count and be able to expand outside of that strike zone to get swing and miss.
Ground ball to the shortstop, played by Cahalan, 1 away.
And even there, that spot, McKenna Gibson gets pretty good barrel on that pitch, but because of the location, because it's low and outside, she can't get barrel underneath and lift it out into the outfield. So instead of a base hit, it's a ground ball to her shortstop right behind her.
That'll bring up Zeta Pooney. 0 for 4 with a walk today. Walked back in the 8th, leading off that 8th inning. Tennessee has had base runners against Beaver, but she's been able to get out of jams. She came on to start the 5th, left 2 on in the 5th inning, runners on the corners, getting the strikeout of Pooney to end that inning. That's out of play, it's 1-1. Tennessee had runners at first and second with 2 down in the 8th when Beaver got a ground out. Malloy was at third in the 9th, but she was left stranded there. Fly ball found ground and out of play. One and 2 to the cleanup hitter for Tennessee. She gets hit with a 1-2 pitch. Rare mistake by Beaver. puts a base runner on here in the 12th.
Quite a few hit batters that we've seen in this ball game, and I think it just speaks to the fact that these pitchers are not wanting to miss over the plate. Screwball low and in got Zeta Pooney on that right thigh.
The next batter for Tennessee, left fielder number 5.
Remember back in the 8th inning when Pooney led off with a walk, Taylor ran for her, but Pooney re-entered, so she'll stay in the game now for Tennessee. And here is Riley West, who takes ball 1. 118 pitches in relief for Beaver after she threw 66 in the Game 1 start yesterday. Two and 0 to Riley West. Singled and scored in the second. 1 for 5 today. 7 for 15 in the NCAA tournament with 2 home runs, 9 runs batted in. 2-1.
Those are the counts, too, where I feel that Kayla Beaver has excelled. You get behind in the count, 2-0 count, and she doesn't over-adjust. She doesn't just bring one straight down the middle to get a strike, but she still tries to work the edges of that zone. Goes right back to that same spot, just a little bit further out. Now she's 3-1.
Out of play.
This is something, too, that Kayla Beaver practices as well. They go into the bullpen, and they'll start her off with a 3-0 count or a 2-0 count, and she has to work her way back, going from station to station. Seems like she kind of likes being able to fight back and claw back in these at-bats, too. After falling behind, all of that work that you put in during the week, you want it to pay off in these big moments.
Popped up. Left side, Cahalan calling for it. She's got it for the out, 2 down.
Prime example again of her working back in that count. A couple of times where it would have been easier for her to maybe just get in the over strike, maybe work the screwball a little bit further on the plate, but you can tell that she is truly working one pitch at a time, still trying to manipulate those corners and get these outs.
Fly ball right side. This is playable. Essman calling for it, and then Hevelin got behind her, and Essman got out of the way. Mistake by Alabama. Now, yesterday, mistakes were costly. Giving Tennessee extra at-bats hurt Patrick Murphy's team. They should be out of the inning. They should have been out of the inning yesterday in the 5th, and Mueller made them pay with a 2-run home run.
It's been a couple of times today on those fly balls to the right side of the field where you're just not seeing that communication coming through. It looked like Essman was calling that one all the way. I wonder if she heard Hevelin maybe calling it or coming up right behind her.
Or
but
the
nobody,
footsteps maybe.
Yeah, nobody goes for that ball. Ball drops, and now Sophia Nugent has a brand new opportunity up at the plate.
The 0-1. That's out of play. It's 0-2. Yesterday in the 5th inning against Beaver, Beaver walked West and then got 2 fly ball outs before a ground ball to second was an error. That kept the inning going. Then Mueller came up with the 2-run home run after West had scored on that error. 1 pitch away from getting out of a little bit of a jam here. The 0-2. Beautiful pitch, off speed, pulled the string, got the strikeout
for the Aggies.
Woolley's showing some good defense in that game as well, so Texas A&M trying to pull the upset. This is hit well to right center field, and it's off the top of the wall. Heading into second, diving in, and out of second is Riley Valentine. just feet away from this game ending, and seconds later, it's an out at second base. One down in the 12th.
Valentine gets such a good piece of this pitch. We talked about getting on time. Well, she's on time for this one. Drives it so hard off of the wall, but the read that Taylor Panel gets on that bounce, the throw in to Laura Mueller, applies the tag. Tennessee throughout this Super Regional has just been putting on a clinic on how to get a relay in from the outfield. The second time that they've been able to gun down a runner trying to take the extra 60 feet. When your outfield and your defense is working like that, Carlin Pickens loves it in the circle.
Fouled off by Haviland, and it's 1-1. We saw Riley West with the assist yesterday with the throw to third. Taylor Panel with the assist with the game on the line. One, 1-2. Two and two.
Since Carlin Pickens has entered this ball game, we've pretty much seen nothing but strikeouts and groundouts. The only two times the ball's been hit in the air, both of them by Riley Valentine.
Pickens gets the strikeout, 2 away. How close was Riley Valentine to ending this game?
Didn't we say it's a game of inches in this Super Regional? Quite literally inches away from ending that ball game. Just a tough break for her, trying to take advantage there. But the play by Taylor Panel, that relay in, wasting no time, reading it off of the wall. Good throw in, and the tag, too, applied by Mueller. We saw a nice tag by Boo Gibson on that relay yesterday. Another good tag applied as she tried to slide in.
Here's Kristen White. Slaps it foul. White was pinch hit for by Kendall Clark back in the 9th inning. 1 for 4 today. Bunt single in the 3rd. Scored after reaching on an error in the 1st. The 0-1 for Pickens. Chop. Mueller's got to hurry. Not going to be in time. White's got great speed, and she beats it out for the infield hit.
Kristen White had a similar hit against Carlin Pickens in that regular season series. Chopper to Mueller, really close at first base. White with great speed, moving down that baseline. Saw a little bit.
My first, second, and third guesses have been wrong from time to time when it comes to replay reviews. Because you're nice enough to give me 3 guesses. You should only have 2.
We've seen a couple change, though, in this Super Regional on those close calls. That one might have been one that could have possibly been changed. I don't know. You're right. It comes down to that indisputable evidence.
Pruitt, there goes the runner, and it's thrown out to the outfield. Slipped out of the hands of Nugent, obviously, but Malloy on top of it. So White's at second, the winning run in scoring position with 2 down here in the 12th.
Looked like Nugent just didn't get a good grip on this softball and just launches it out. One hopper to Kiki Malloy in center field.
Now the question will be, did White leave first base early?
This is an umpire challenge about interference at the plate by the batter.
Oh, interesting. Okay. This is something that we had a lot of conversation about, Maddie and I did, for a call that was perhaps similar to this one that was not called yesterday. Maddie could take us through it all.
Take a look at the swing here. Let's see where Pruitt ends up.
After review, the call on the field is upheld. We have no interference at the plate.
And that's the right call. Clearly no interference. Larissa Pruitt way on the right-hand side of the lefty batter's box. Just an errant throw by Nugent. That's why I wonder maybe if she didn't quite have the grip on the softball, trying to get that quick transfer out of her glove.
1-1 the count to Pruitt. With White at second, with great speed. Anything to the outfield, going to be tough to make the play at the plate. 2-1. Panel takes a couple of steps in right field. Malloy just at the top of the Tennessee logo in center. West fairly shallow in left, knowing that anything to the outfield is going to have to hurry to get to the plate. Swung on and missed. There goes the runner. White trying to steal third. Gibson got there. Murphy on top of it, wondering perhaps for obstruction. Would that be the... What's at stake here? We're in the 12th inning. It's a close play. Why not? But they did not, and we play on. It was a good call by the third base umpire, Tatum Stotling, by looking at those replays. Even if they went to review, it looked like it would have been confirmed as an out. But why not?
And that's a great point, too, that you made, that it's not obstruction because McKenna Gibson had clear possession of the ball when she went to apply that tag. Just think she got that tag in there right in time, but I agree with you, with such a close play with so much on the line in this ball game. Surprised that they didn't go to the video review.
Destiny Rodriguez leading things off here in the top half of the 13th inning. Oh, by the way, it's the 13th inning. we have not had a dull moment in this game. We haven't had a run since the fourth inning. I had to look back. Well, I'm almost on my second scorecard. Madison, congratulations. You have now worked the longest super regional game all time because we're into the 13th inning. It's not by, is it by time too? It might be, because we're coming up on 4 hours. Our first pitch was 3:05 Eastern time.
Well, congrats to you as well and the rest of our crew.
I didn't get you anything. I'll get you a card a year from now. Beaver gets the strikeout. One down here in the top of the 13th.
Fired up after that changeup. Again, that pitch just diving down in the zone, pulling the string, and you can just see that Tennessee has not been able to pick up that pitch out of the hand. Tells you that she's hiding that pitch really well. Her arm circle, her movement, her speed, everything tells the batter that it's a fastball, and right at the last minute, she's able to pull the string on that pitch.
Pitch number 131 comes to Julia Katsoyanopoulos, and it misses for ball one. Katsoyanopoulos had a solid single to right in the 11th off of Beaver. Jocelyn Brisky pitched the first four. It's been all Beaver since then. 1-1. One ball, two strikes with one out here in the 13th. 2-2. Katsoyanopoulos, the last hit for Tennessee. Beaver hit Pooney in the 12th, intentionally walked Malloy in the 11th. Count goes full.
Katsoyanopoulos had that good swing on the curveball to drive that base hit out into right field. So far within this at-bat, they've avoided that spot.
The 3-2 pitch.
That swing there tells me, too, that she's looking in that location. She likes those pitches outside.
That's out of play. We'll do it again. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who didn't want to miss dinner plans, but as I scan the stadium, I think people are canceling dinner plans and just going for the ballpark hot dog for a Saturday night dinner. Why not? Oh, Katsoyanopoulos made the call at the plate, spiked the bat towards her teammate in celebration. Laura Mueller got out of the way. She's got quick feet. Good thing.
Had to be on her toes in that on-deck circle for the bat. Watches the changeup go by.
Look out, Laura.
Spikes it. There's that late movement there.
I know she was a javelin thrower back in the day. So she's aboard with one out. And here is Mueller. We remind you what happened yesterday when Mueller faced Beaver, hit a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 5th to put Tennessee in front 3-2. That was the final in Game 1 of this Knoxville Super Regional. Batting now in the top of the 13th. Mueller takes the ball. It's 2-0. And now a conference in the circle as Marley Jai on the bases
Skip,
for Laura.
jump, jog.
Mix it all in. Sprint. 2-0. 2-1.
Almost lost her helmet, too. She had to make sure that within the jump, the helmet stays on as she's running around the bases.
Beaver, who pitched for Central Arkansas last season, facing Mueller, who played for Middle Tennessee. Back up the middle. Gloved by Beaver for one, and Cahalan will hold on to it. They get the force. Katsoyanopoulos retired, 2 down.
All about the location that she just threw that pitch to Laura Mueller. Gets another weak ground ball. We've seen a ton of those ground balls off the end of the bat. Curveballs away and making the adjustment on that pitch. Now she struck out on a Kayla Beaver changeup in yesterday's ball game, so if they do decide to pitch to her, would not be surprised if we see some of those changeups. But also I think it's important too to work in the rise ball and make sure that it's up and inside and tight to Kiki Malloy.
Don Brown talking to Tennessee head coach Karen Weekly. Little shoulder shrug. Let's go back to Kiki Malloy here in the regional against Virginia.
Well, we know that Kiki Malloy has some pop, and this one's a pitch low in the zone, low and outside, but she's so strong. She's able to get around that pitch and lift it out into the scoreboard in left field, and you know Tennessee would love to see some of that power here.
Was her 69th career home run, the all-time leader in Tennessee program history in that category. We'll see again if they give Malloy anything to hit here. Won't be an intentional walk, but it could be one of those
unintentional.
Yes.
Unintentional, intentional walks. I like this move of keeping everything well outside of the zone. I just don't think that you give Kiki Malloy a chance to beat you in this situation, especially with the swings that she's had off of Kayla Beaver, the success that she's had throughout this season off of her.
Gave her something to hit. She swung at it. It's 2-1.
Went after the changeup, too. A little smile on Coach Murphy's face in that dugout. I just think you're playing with fire a bit with just how much success that Kiki has had against Kayla Beaver.
Two-1. Misses inside for ball 3, 3-1.
But if you're going to work inside, that's exactly the spot that you want to go to. If it misses, it's a ball. Doesn't matter, but if she does decide to swing at it, that's not a pitch that you can drive with authority because of just how tight it is on the hands.
3-1. I can't imagine she's going to get something good here. She gets something right down the middle. It's 3-2. Beaver going into challenge mode here against Kiki Malloy. That misses for ball 4. first and second with 2 down, and Panel coming to the plate.
Kayla Beaver going right after Kiki Malloy, too. Those are some close competitive pitches. A good take by Kiki Malloy to go ahead and draw that walk, but that 3-1 pitch, screwball just piped. Direct challenge there, veteran on veteran.
5th time Malloy's been aboard today. And here's a fly ball to right field. That's Pruitt, and she's got it. And Beaver challenged Malloy and then gets the Women's College World Series in 2011. Our research department, they're loving this, I can tell. Bottom of the 13th, Larissa Pruitt leading things off. Hit by a pitch leading off the 8th. 1-1. I asked you about what's impressed you with Beaver. I asked you the same question about Carlin Pickens and what's impressed you most of her relief stint here for Tennessee.
Her bouncing back from yesterday's performance, I guarantee she's not satisfied with the way that she pitched against Alabama yesterday.
Pickens with the glove, takes her time, throws the first one away.
Smooth and casual as she fields that one. Hot shot off of the bat, straight back to her. Pruitt with the one hopper. Ooh, the smooth backhand, getting it all together, firing it over to first base. But it's been the command that we've seen from Carlin Pickens. Every once in a while, a pitch she'll go out of the zone, but the ones that follow, she usually is able to get right back into the count after that ball.
Here's Cahalan, who takes ball 1. An Alabama run here, and the game is over, and we'll play a game 3 tomorrow here in Knoxville to send one team on to Oklahoma City. Out of play, it's 1-1.
I feel like new props just keep emerging from the Alabama dugout as this game goes on.
Slowly tapped, spinning away for Pickens. Again, calmly sticks with it, makes the throw, gets the out. 2 down.
Also seemed to be a message for Tennessee coming into this ball game too, controlling that heart rate, trying to slow things down after we spoke to Coach Karen Weekly, maybe a little bit amped up in game 1. Slowing things down just a bit here in game 2.
Jenna Johnson steps in. Strike 1. It's a question that I asked Karen Weekly in-game yesterday, just thinking, is your team tight? She said no, and then we followed up with her today before the game. She goes, we weren't tight. We just got amped up, and we're a team that is at our best when it's not too high, not too low, and they had to try to find that middle ground, and they found it. Took a little while. That misses for a ball. It's 1-1. They were being shut out yesterday in the 5th inning before they scored 3 runs, take a 3-2 lead. You see how it works in the Tennessee dugout. Weekly calls the pitches, relays it to the pitching coach, Megan Rhodes-Smith, who then sends it into the pitcher. And Johnson wears that one with pride. Now she'll need a moment at first base.
She'll take it, but that, you know, that doesn't feel good. 73 miles an hour. Right in the stomach. It's a painful way to reach base, but she's going to take it in this bottom of the 13th inning any way she can.
So she's okay. Big hat, boombox, all the props going now for Alabama, trying to walk it off here in the 13th. The winning run is aboard, and here is Marley Giles. Ball one. The 1-0. In the dirt, stopped by Nugent. It's 2-0. 3 hit batters by Pickens here in this relief appearance. Perhaps get that her velocity came down when she was off her game a bit.
When you're trying to pinpoint that release, sometimes you can slow down that arm circle and then slow down the pitch.
Comes back with 75, but misses for a ball. It's 3-0. The sophomore ready for Pickens to throw the 3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk, and it gets away from the catcher Nugent, but just advancing to second is Johnson. So Alabama with a threat here with 2 down in the bottom half of the 13th inning. First and second for the Crimson Tide.
Peyton Gottschall looking on in that Tennessee dugout, got the start in this ball game. Feels like about yesterday with as deep as we've gone into this ball game.
Now there's concern for Tennessee because she missed badly hitting Johnson, and now a 4-pitch walk to Giles, and here's Bailey Dowling at the plate. Dowling squaring and taking strike one. Alabama 1 for 9 today with runners in scoring position, 3 for 20 in the series. They have had opportunities. They had plenty of opportunities yesterday. They stranded 4 at third base yesterday. Dowling with a swing and a miss, and she's down on the count 0-2.
Dowling fully expecting that Carlin Pickens was going to come with that heater low and inside. Comes in with the changeup down in the dirt, falling behind 0-2.
Pickens gets out of the jam. Monica, hope you're enjoying this one. I know you are when the pitchers are locked in a duel. Gibson pops it up. It's going to be close. And it's up on the netting out of play for strike one. Pitch number 150 for Kayla Beaver, Maddie.
You know Monica's always all in when there's a pitcher's duel, but especially between these two pitchers that throw with that high velocity. Monica, of course, throwing consistently in the mid-70s herself. Coming from the left side, so a little bit different than the matchup that we've got down here on the field, but what a performance so far in this ball game in relief by Kayla Beaver and by Carlin Pickens.
Gibson chops it. Dowling has it at third. The throw on the first in time. One away here in the top of the 14th inning. Zeta Pooney was hit by a pitcher last time in the 12th. Also walked in the 8th. Pooney with a solid single up the middle with one down here in the 14th.
Pooney all over this pitch. Looks like that curveball again. That's what these batters seem to be zoning in on when it's left a little bit more on the plate, but this is just a solid swing. Pitch on the outer half, doesn't try to pull it to the left side, just goes with it, drives it straight back up the middle for a one-out single.
Riley West single to right and scored back in the second inning. 1 for 6 today, and she was hit by a pitch.
Another hit batter that we've seen in this ball game, and again, rise ball inside. Riley West gets hit. It looks like it clips just that front elbow on that elbow guard. Ricochet straight into the glove of Marley Giles, too. But either way, now two runners on board with one away for Tennessee.
You'll recall that Alabama played a 14-inning game in the SEC tournament against LSU, so this is not unfamiliar territory for the Crimson Tide. Tennessee will bring in a pinch runner. Alana Leach will run for Pooney. This is the longest game in Tennessee's history. Their previous longest game was 13 innings in the SEC tournament back 2 seasons ago against Mississippi State. That was a 1-0 win. Leach at second, West at first, and here is Nugent. Nugent homered back in the 4th for the second Tennessee run. 1-1.
Couple of drop balls on the outer half to start off this at bat. Coach Patrick Murphy looking on in that dugout.
Beavers 1-1. 2-1. Grounded to short. Cahalan backs up on it, gets the force at second. That's all they'll get.
Moves Leach over to third base, but that last hop, Cahalan decided to take a step back and still had time to fire over to second base to make sure she at least got one out on that ground ball. Pretty high chopper, too, off of the bat. It's the second hop here. Almost got caught on the mid-hop. I think that's a smart move to take that step back to get it on the long hop, knowing that you still had time to get that out at second base.
You get aggressive, you charge it, you miss it, it's in the outfield, and then Leach has a great chance to score. So, heads up play by Cahalan. 2 down. Rodriguez struck out looking last time she faced Beaver.
You can even see on that practice swing for Rodriguez trying to emphasize getting on top of the ball, knowing she's going to see a lot of upspin from Beaver.
The 0-1. Rodriguez hit by a pitch.
Bases loaded, top of the 14th.
Pitch number 160 in relief for Kayla Beaver is a strike. One on one. Two and one.
Drop balls away. Coach Patrick Murphy trying to figure out where those pitches are missing. Kayla Beaver regrouping, taking that deep breath before she gets onto that rubber.
3-1 with the bases loaded.
Got to be taken all the way here, right? 3-1 count, bases loaded, all the pressure here on Kayla Beaver.
Called a strike. It's 3-2 at the knees. Now the protest from Karen Weekly in the third base coach's box saying that was low. We've seen both head coaches working the plate umpire here. Bases loaded. 2 down. The payoff pitch to Katsoyanopoulos. Grounded to Dowling to first. And Beaver gets out of another jam. 8. So Lauren Johnson will bat here for Alabama in the bottom of the 14th. Against Carlin Pickens. Ready with her 120th pitch in relief. And it's a solid single to left by Lauren Johnson. The freshman from Franklin, Tennessee, who didn't play in the Tuscaloosa Regional, comes to the plate here in the 14th. Something you brought up with Patrick Murphy before this regional started, saying it seems like he's got the magic touch with pinch hitters through the years.
He just has such a good feel for when to bring a batter into the ball game, even going back to that 2012 season. Jazz Lunsford coming in with a pinch hit home run in the World Series. KJ Haney had a big pinch hit grand slam against South Carolina a few seasons ago. But he said a lot of it has to do with the fact that he throws BP to these players throughout the week too, so he's getting a bird's eye view of what their swings look like throughout the week so that he can pick and choose which one's going to be the right matchup to put in at the right time during the game.
Valentine pulls the barrel back, takes a ball, it's 2-0.
And Riley Valentine has had really good at-bats against Carlin Pickens in this ball game. She was the one that drilled the ball just inches away from leaving the yard in a walk-off home run a few innings ago, back in the 12th.
Valentine rips one to left, moving over and not making the catch is Riley West. Sliding in safely to third is Johnson. Second and third for Alabama with nobody out in the bottom of the 14th. West got there, got a glove on it just at the top of the grass and just couldn't hang on to it.
Another solid swing again from Riley Valentine, seeing the ball so well, and it just tips off of the end of that glove and skips away from her out in left field. Has to grab it barehanded, throw it into third base. Valentine with that double, both runners. They're going to go ahead and put her on base.
Interesting.
Intentionally walk her to load the bases to make it a force play at the plate.
100%. So that's the call here. They're going for the intentional walk to Hevlin, the number 9 hitter, who's 0 for 4 today, but they will load the bases. That means there's a force play at the plate.
And you've got Kristen White standing over on deck, who we've talked about throughout this game, has had success against Pickens throughout this season. She likes to get those high choppers. That one almost got away from Nugent there. She'll get some great height on the ground balls that she puts into play.
Think about it for Tennessee, too. It is hard if Kristen White chops one into the ground like we've seen before. It's hard to get her at first. You have better odds of getting Johnson at home if you're charging the ball from the left side, which is where we've seen White go before. Here we go, bases loaded, nobody out in the bottom half of the 14th inning. A run here, ball game over, Alabama wins, we play tomorrow. White fouls it off for strike one.
The whole defense here, you have no choice but to play practically as close as possible, outfield included. You're playing up. See just how close the corners are.
White chops it. Mueller's got to come home. It's not in time, and Alabama lives to play another day. On the bases
Skip,
for Laura.
jump, jog.
Mix it all in. Sprint. 2-0. 2-1.
Almost lost her helmet, too. She had to make sure that within the jump, the helmet stays on as she's running around the bases.
Beaver, who pitched for Central Arkansas last season, facing Mueller, who played for Middle Tennessee. Back up the middle. Gloved by Beaver for one, and Cahalan will hold on to it. They get the force. Katsoyanopoulos retired, 2 down.
All about the location that she just threw that pitch to Laura Mueller. Gets another weak ground ball. We've seen a ton of those ground balls off the end of the bat.